Hey everybody, welcome to the Backstage Pass with Jared Lee. I got one member out of the four boys called themselves Black Guy Creez that I'm going to be interviewing here tonight. We got Mr. Danny Morasti coming up. Black Guy Creez, that sounds familiar. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like maybe a little bit like Black Eyed Peas? Oh, Black Guy Creez, I'm going to ask him how that name came to be and where the boys came up with them. So who is Black Guy Creez? Who are the boys? Let's read out their bio here. Black Guy Creez is a four-piece country band from northern Saskatchewan and northern Alberta. With Cree, Dene, First Nations, and Métis heritage, Black Guy Creez have been together for 8 years. Played for many communities and events in western and northern Canada. The band has the following members on drums: Danny Morasti, bass, slapping the bass, Lenny Delorme on all vocals as well, Daryl LaValle on lead guitar, rhythm and vocals, Mr. LJ Piche. So today, I have none other than Mr. Danny Morasti from the Black Eyed Creez.
Hey, Jared, man, how you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
Great. Not doing too much because of this COVID, but I think it's gonna be done soon, and hopefully all of us can get back on the road, all of our bands, and man, miss music, miss the stage for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about that right off the hop. Life as a musician. You're an experienced vet, right? How long have you been playing, Danny?
Oh man, kind of like 35, maybe 35, almost 40 years now.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit, like life on the road and how music has changed a little bit. What are some of the names of some of the acts you guys have opened up for? Even you yourself, some of the names that you can throw at us, like.
Well, with the Black Eyed Creez, we done a show with. We played on the same bill as Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, when I used to jam with Lauren, we played with. We were on the same bill as Tom Cochran, Red Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was on a bill with a different band. We were called Native Sunset. We done a Kentucky Headhunters show, and then there was a band from the Lodge called the Los Angels, Keith Suchek and Carl, and we opened up for Nazareth with other northern bands at the time, and Trooper many times.
Yep. Who hasn't opened up for Trooper in Canada, right?
Right,
they're good.
yeah.
They're good like that. I just love Trooper.
Oh yeah, Trooper, man. They've been around and they played a lot of indigenous communities, native communities, right? And they played a lot of native festivals. So, they're a big draw with these festivals and these jamborees in the north and northwest Canada and all over Canada. They played a lot of First Nations, Métis communities. So yeah, those guys have been around, and the native people sure love their music for sure. Yeah.
As soon as you hear "Once Upon a Time," everybody's to the dance floor. Memories. So let's talk a little bit about that now. Memories. What's your earliest memory in terms of like music? How did you get your start even?
Man, like I got my start, when I was a teenage. Well, actually, I was a teenager. I guess 12 years old, 11, 12. That's when I started getting into music. We had a local band on the reserve called Kisaki Band, and they were kind of like our influence at the time. They were the only band in the Orange area at the time. There wasn't too many bands. I believe there was DC and the Country Boys in Beauval, Saskatchewan. That were like there was only a few bands in the north, and the west side had their own bands like Northern Fire and some older bands over there. But DC and the Country Boys sure influenced me because they're out doing gigs, and they were doing gigs everywhere. And Kisaki Band too at the time. That's when the bars were happening and things were happening. So they were, I idolized them, and they're my inspiration to get into music. And I thought that was cool because they were doing outdoor shows. Obviously, I was a minor, couldn't go check out their shows, but that influenced me, seeing them, doing Treaty Day events or other community events, and that inspired me to become a musician. Not only that, my mother used to sing all the time, and my sister my sister Edna Morasti, she sang too, and that's where I got my influence from. Music was always roaming around the house, so and me getting involved with it, it was pretty cool. And bought my first drum set for $20. It was an old Rogers drum set off the late Art Roberts from Kentucky Band. So a $20 drum kit and a couple of broken down cymbals and a little shack. That's where I started practicing. And I used to, back in the day, we used to have a Walkman or a Ghetto Blaster, and I used to just go over songs. And funny talking about that, my late grandmother, Betsy Charles, my dad's mother, she used to live across the road from us. And I remember that one time, I was really into the music and getting more interested in it. And my grandmother walked across with her cane, middle of the night. And so I was listening, man. I was drumming away with my headphones, and I could hear somebody knocking really loud. And so I went and answered the shack door there, and my grandmother was standing there at 4 o'clock in the morning, yelling at me in Cree and saying, why are you doing this early in the morning? Everybody's trying to sleep. All we can hear is drums everywhere. And that was my one of my first experiences. I guess one of my first. I shouldn't say haters, but she didn't mind me drumming in the daytime, but drumming all night on a reserve and it's echoing right across the reserve. Yeah, man. She didn't like that. 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that was my late grandmother. So,
that's
but yeah, music's been around with me for many years, and then after that, I played for numerous bands and had the opportunity to travel all over. Western Canada, Northern Canada, and some Eastern Canada. So it was a good experience. And so after, when I started playing with all these bands, we had a band called The Beginners. Obviously, it was my first band. And then after that, we had a band called Red Wolf. We changed the name to Red Wolf. It didn't stick too long. And then we had a band called Native Sons. And Native Sons was together for a while with Sam McKenzie and Moses Helkett and John Cook was Native Sons. So that went on for so long. And then Sam left the band, and then Mo left the band, and so that's where we picked up Jay Ross and then Daryl LaValle. So then we were Native Sons for a while, and we lasted for a few years. Done some good jamborees, some good events, and some good gigs. And then after that, the band kind of disbanded. After that, everybody went their own ways, and it happened that way. But yeah, music, I'm at that age now. I'm middle-aged, and playing music for over 35 years, and still playing today. So I'm very fortunate and very grateful that I'm still playing today. So yeah, but music is changing. Yeah, that's for sure.
That's good. So you're like a pioneer, and I always look up to DC. Once I heard the story of how they got started and how much he influenced, music in Saskatchewan, that's where, if anybody out there doesn't know who Just the Boys are, or if you do know who Just the Boys are, that's kind of where DC and the Country Boys, right? It was DC and the Country Boys got their start. Then it came to Just the Boys, and they have over, I think, 130 some members or something like that. So that's a lot of people. That's a good lineup, saying like, hey, are you busy? Oh, you're busy this weekend? Okay, hold on. Hey, are you busy this weekend? Okay, well, we got a gig. Well, and it's just like an endless list of, so many musicians you can play with. And man, let's talk about like where you grew up, Larange, right?
Yeah, I grew up on the reserve. It's called Kitsaki Reserve in Larange.
Okay.
Part of Larange Indian Band. We have numerous communities, but that's where I was brought up and raised. And I was born in Larange, and basically, growing up on the reserve was really cool because back then everything was awesome, right? This is before technology, so we spent a lot of time playing music, or rehearsing, or playing sports, or traveling, or going to youth camps, or it was so intact back then. Growing up, which I wish today the youth would experience that, but obviously they can't because time moves on and the future is the future. But today's generation and the generations before me, we experienced that. And generations today are missing out big time because back then, before technology, everything was that. It was sports, music, or whatever else you want to. Yeah, or playing outside. Yeah.
Playing outside. Ask the kids today to build a fort. Do you think they would know how?
Oh, probably not. Probably
build a
on
fort,
a
build a fort. They'd be like, Fortnite. I don't have the app. Let me just check here for the app.
yeah, probably on a like a on
I
an
can build a
iPhone or
Fortnite.
yeah, probably on an iPad or on a laptop or something. That's how they build their forts these days. But
Yeah.
back in our day, we had to actually build forts with 2x4s or leftover lumber.
Anything
Yeah,
you can find. Hey.
yeah, but just going back to the history of growing up in Laurent, there's so much talent that came out of that community.
Yep.
Like there's so many bands that came out of. I don't know if I can remember them all. Like there was the Hair Farmers, there was Beach of Trust, there was Lights of LA, there was Kentucky Band, obviously the ones that started the music scene there. There was the John Jones Band, Marty Ballantyne, done his projects there, and
Hmm.
coming out of Larange, and there was so much music, man. Like Larange was one of the best places to go for entertainment because they had two bars, right? And those
Hmm.
bars were packed back in the day when they used to have bands from Monday to Saturday nights. And I don't miss those long weeks, but that was part of us growing up, man. It was
you
really good rehearsal time for sure.
you only get Sunday night off, and the rest you're playing.
Oh man, Sunday was the travel days back to where we had to travel from.
Imagine
But
having a normal job and then having to play music at night. So you'd have like maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep and get up and do your day and take a nap before your gig, and away you go.
yeah, actually, I tried that actually, but I was going to school. I was going to high school, right? I was going to school in
Wow.
Carleton,
Yeah.
and for example, playing in Larange. So I managed to managed to have wheels at the time and
Hmm.
get back and forth, like go play in Larange
Hmm.
all night long, travel back, get home around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, sleep for a few hours, go to class all day, and then take off back to Larange. Try to do that 7 times a week, and that's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eventually your hours of sleep and lack of sleep would probably catch up to you, and I'm sure you'd catch a couple of naps during class, eh?
Oh man, yeah. I remember I used to fall asleep in class, man. It's just that's how it was. It was pretty hectic, and but I wouldn't change it for the world. It was a really good experience.
Yep.
Practicing in the local theater back home in Orange, the Aurora Theater is burnt down now, but that was our practice headquarters. When we just started getting off, learning music, trying to build some chemistry with your friends, your childhood friends, and in that Aurora Theater, and it used to be funny because the young kids, the young kids used to actually come and listen to us, and then one day, hey, let's charge these guys $5, to come and listen to us screw up songs and tear apart songs. So,
How many
yeah, it
times
was
did you
really good
guys
stuff.
play? How many times did you guys play Janine? And be honest.
Oh man, how many versions? How many versions
How
of
many
Janine?
versions of it?
Man, like,
The
yeah,
universal set list, eh?
man, like that song, it came out in the '70s. Yeah, yeah, I'd probably say a good. I don't know. I can't even say, but even probably a 500,000 times Janine. Anyways,
Everybody
yeah,
knows
and
that intro.
everybody knows that intro. There's different
Yeah.
intros now,
Yeah.
and it was pretty wild back in the Edward Gamblin days when I used to play with late PJ Freddie Nabas from Cormant and Patrick Jacobson from Cormant, and once in a while Randy Nabas would join us. But Edward Gamblin, he was our boss, and he had a reputation already because he had a couple of albums out with Sunshine Records.
Hmm.
So joining his band for 5 years, I believe it was like 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
I joined up with him, and it was he took us to some really good places, like some places I'd never been before,
Hmm.
and his storytelling, lyrically, his originals that he wrote, and a lot of people listen to his originals. A lot of indigenous people listen to his originals, and a lot of his originals were about his life and what he experienced, and a lot of stories about his family. So
Hmm.
Edward Gamlin, kudos to him. I know he's in heaven and all that kind of stuff. Well, hopefully he's in heaven, but um, some musicians and their reputation, I don't know what direction they're going to go. But
50-50 chance we could go either way. If there's no
yeah,
music in heaven, I'm not going.
or all a lot of people look at musicians in a different perspective, saying, "Oh man, those guys are like, if you're playing really heavy music, oh, those guys are devil worshippers," or
Hmm.
"Oh, they're." the devil is their god. And
Yep.
then you see the people that are playing softer music, and say, oh yeah, those guys are pretty good. They should turn into a gospel band. Stuff like that. It's just religion
Yep.
and music sometimes doesn't really mix, and I don't believe in that. But
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah.
The songwriting. Who does the songwriting mostly? Like, is it a group effort? Is it one or two, or everybody just puts their input? How do you guys come up with your songs?
Well, actually, I've been I done a couple of interviews just recently too, and that always came up. But I always tell them that our songwriters are Lenny DeLorme out of Buffalo Lake Métis Settlement, Alberta, and Lauren Piche. Lauren Piche is originally from Janvier, but
Mhm.
he lives in Saskatchewan there with his family. So those are our two main songwriters.
Mhm.
And then me and Daryl, we just come in there for the ride. We just come there and listen to what they're playing for us, and what kind of originals and what kind of structure they like to have it, and then we just try to blend in our ideas with that. So it's
Cool.
it's a cool experience. Plus, the four originals that we do have out are, well, we have three right now. There'll be another one coming out shortly, but a lot of that influence came from Lee Bell out of Meadow Lake, so he's been helping us out too with the music, creating it and getting ideas. So Lee Bell is a big influence too in our music, so it's really cool to have him on board with our projects. Yeah.
And the name Black Eyed Creez. Where did you guys come up with the name?
Well, Black Eyed Creez was actually, we were talking about this a couple of days ago actually, and I remember we used to play with Donnie Rondell once in a
Yeah.
while, and it started coming out of there, but it didn't really stick to that with when Donnie was jamming with us at first. But I'm not too sure. I think he might have had a black eye, but now we really had a experience where we were just forming a band. I don't know, they call us the rodeo band or something like that, because we were doing nothing but rodeos in Alberta,
Yep.
and we didn't really have a structured name. So Lenny one day just said, I think it was Cal McCollum. Cal McCollum, we started using him as a fiddle player,
Yep.
and he actually came to a gig with a big black eye. So that's where Black Eyed Creez really actually initiated from, was Cal there. He's like influenced the name, and Lenny DeLorme was, he said, "Hey man, we just should call ourselves Black Eyed Creez, not the Black
Yep.
Eyed Peas, but the Black Eyed Creez." And then Lenny says too, if we ever end up in court, anyways, if they ever try to sue us, Black Eyed Peas, there's no real thing as Black Eyed Peas, but there's a real thing like Black Eyed
Black Eyed
Creez.
Creez. Yeah, exactly. I
So
love the
that's where,
name.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a name that's been with us ever since. And I don't know how many times we discussed, man, should we change the name a little bit?
No.
I don't know, but we really thought about it, and we're actually throwing some other names around, and we just came back to it and said, man, if we change our name now,
Yeah.
middle of this band's existence, um, man, it's like gonna start all over again, right?
Yeah,
Change
exactly.
if you change the name, man, you got to like start all over.
Is it
So
is it true? Is it true that when you lose one band member or change out another band member, you have to change the name of the band? Or is that just an old myth?
I think that's an old myth. You could change the band. Well, for example, just the boys. Like I think they went
Yep.
through like 5, 6 frontmen
Yep.
throughout all those years. But the thing about it is, all the frontmen, they were all awesome. They're all good vocalists, and they kept the just the boys' name going all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way from the beginning, when Just the Boys started, man, they had some good singers. Late David DeRocher was the frontman of the band at first, and then Bingo Kimberly too was singing too at the same time. He's a lead guitar player at the time, and
Yeah.
Fred Roy on bass,
Yep.
and Mervyn Moran playing drums. So,
Mhm.
but even back in the DC days, like DC, actually groomed all these guys,
Hmm.
and his influence, like we said before, DC Don Corrigal, he influenced many, many, many musicians from Beauval area and Northern Saskatchewan.
Mhm.
And just the boys, that name is still going today. And now Darwin Roy, I think Darwin Roy is the present. Well, he was one of the frontmen before, and he left before, and he had his own
Yep.
band, but he came
Co-
back and he's back at doing the lead singing for the band. So
Yeah,
they're going through another circle. Yep.
Country Rock Company was the name of the band that he was with for a little while, and
Yeah.
then went back to just the boys. But I want to share a song with everybody, if you don't mind. My Baby Girl. Sure. I heard this song and I just love the harmonies on it. It reminds me of, like, I don't know how I would describe it. Early 90s. It's got a good feel. But anyways, this song right here, I'll check out your guys' website at the same time as we're listening to the song, and we'll just check out the song here. So this one's called My Baby Girl by Black Eyed Creez. And no, not Black Eyed Peas. For the men that talk back to their wives and get a black eye, that's probably what happens. Oh, but here we go. Yeah. My Baby Girl.
She's my baby girl. Got a beautiful smile, long brown hair, and big blue eyes. She's got her daddy's heart, her mom's good looks. Yeah, you'll look twice. She got everything she wants and everything she needs. She'll never go empty-handed if it's up to me. She's my baby girl. Everything that's worth living in this whole world. She's my baby girl. Oh, how I love that little girl. Since the first day that they laid you in my arms, I made a promise to myself that I'd keep you from harm. It's so sad to see you growing up so fast. Looking back on the photographs, remembering the past. You're my baby girl. Everything that's worth living in this whole world. You're my baby girl. Oh, how I love that little girl. I don't care if you're 3 or 23. I'll tell the world who you want to be. You're my baby girl. Everything that's worth living in this whole world. You're my baby girl. My baby girl.
All right. So there you go, My Baby Girl. That one, I hear that one quite a bit on NBC, and it was in regular rotation there for a bit and still going strong. I think you guys were on the countdown or the top 5. That song was on top 5.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
NBC, they're great supporters of us Indigenous artists, man, let me tell you. And that radio station does a lot for everybody. I just can't thank them enough, you know?
Yeah, same with me. You know, they sure helped us get our music out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like My Baby Girl, that was written by Lauren, you know, writing a song about his daughter. But that song, too, you know, it has an influence. You know, I mean, it's a song for all dads, right, that have baby
Yep.
girls. That song's kind of what I want to say. But yeah, like, you know, every dad can adapt to that song. It's really cool. So
There's a song called Cleaning This Gun. I think it was by, I can't remember. I'll have to Google it right quick, but Cleaning My Gun country song. And Rodney Atkins. And he talks about, you know, his daughter going out on a date and hey, come on in here, boy, sit on down and tell me about yourself, you know. So I see you like my daughter, do you know? All I think she's something else. So he's still going to be sitting there while he's on his date cleaning his gun. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
as soon as men have daughters, man, that's the first thing we go and grab is a shotgun, because
Yeah,
the boys are going to be coming around.
we got to protect our women. We got to
We do.
protect our girls. Yeah.
Yep.
So I say that to all dads, and we are our girls are our girls, our daughters are our daughters, and our wives are our wives, and our girlfriends are our girlfriends.
Yeah,
We gotta respect them
everybody
all.
has a mom. Everybody has a mom, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So that's such a big issue right now is MMIW, girls and guys and Two-Spirit that are going missing. So it's one of those unfortunate things, but it's also an issue we need to talk about, and that just stems from the impacts of colonization, and they're finding out the factors of how come there's women going missing. People would think that it's immigrants, but it's us doing it to our own women.
Yeah,
And it's unfortunate. So it needs to change. So I'm a big supporter of equality, and that's a big topic right now, and it's a really touchy one at that too. So
yeah, it's really scary because I know a couple of people personally that are missing, and people from back home too, from my reserve.
Yep.
Happy Charles was a good friend of mine. Growing up with her, we're pretty well the same age, and she's been missing for 4 years now. And still today, I just wonder where she is. Last time I saw her, she was telling me she was okay, and she was all right, but she was still struggling with her demons, and
Yep.
and then just one day she just went missing. And I hope we can find her soon. But her parents are always out there. Her daughters are always out there advocating for missing and murdered, and hopefully someday somebody comes up. There's somebody out there that has a guilty conscience about that, right?
somebody knows.
Somebody
Somebody
knows.
knows.
Somebody knows, and so sad that they don't have the heart or the balls to deal with reality that I made a mistake, and I got to come truthful, right? And
Yep.
well, hopefully that peace and comfort and that closure will come to that family soon, and which they really want. So it's unfortunate, but a lot of our women are they go missing.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why Lenny wrote a song called "Just Another Indian," not
Just another engine. Yep.
Yeah, Indian, just another Indian, just another Indian. Yeah, he wrote that song, and if you really listen to the lyrics of that song, it's a pretty deep song because he talks about the residential school experience, he talks about the Colton Boucher experience, and he talks about the missing and murdered all in one song. So you really got to listen to that song, and we knew it was gonna heat some people up, and some people like it, some people didn't. But the thing about it was just Lenny was telling the truth in his songwriting about that song. What's happening in Canada today.
Yep.
And we can talk about that all day, but it's unfortunate. But hopefully, a lot of these families and a lot of this injustice, favors our people in the future. So, but yeah, that's was Lenny when he wrote that song. He had in mind of feeling for those families and those situations.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of bad things that happen to us, especially as First Nations people. If you want to talk about right from the treaties all the way up to 60s, 70s scoop residential schools, missing, murdered Indigenous women, all that, even the forced sterilization, it's all man-made if you really think about it. But what these people don't know and they don't realize is that there's always natural law that they have to answer to. And that's why we're still here. That's why we're so resilient, is that we have the Creator on our side. So I truly believe in the spiritual part of who we are as First Nations people, as Nahiwak, that we are stronger than anything and everything that has been ever thrown at us. Because if you think about our ancestors and how much BS and hardships that they went through, that was a tough life. If you think about having to set a trap line and then going down to the water and getting fresh water for your kids, and then building a teepee all in one day and building fire, man, our people were strong. Still are.
Very strong.
Still are strong. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, coming from Laurent and hearing the legends and the stories of our leaders from the 1800s to now.
I just
back in the day.
I just have to address this. Janelle Pewapskunias, she made a post, and it was strictly about women, and the post was very hateful towards men. So I suggested that she make it gender neutral, because things like women going missing, it happens. Things like sexual
Yeah.
abuse, it happens. You know, and unfortunately, it happens to men as well. It happened to me. So I get heated about this when she's saying, interesting, you have an okay perspective on that, missing murdered Indigenous women, but still have troubles with her post. I do, because it's very hateful. It's bashing men, and it's very laterally violent. So that's another thing I like talking about, is the lateral violence.
Mm-hmm.
I like doing things like sharing a video called 5 Monkeys. So in the story, there's 5 monkeys and they're in this cage. And what happens is these scientists, they put a banana at the top of a ladder, right? And at the top of the ladder, one monkey goes up and of course tries to go grab the bananas. Well, in the meantime, these other 4, they go and get sprayed by cold water. So when the monkey gets back down off the ladder, the other 4 beat up the monkey, and then another monkey tries going up and they beat him up, whatever. So one by one, these monkeys are all switched out, and with the new monkey going up to the ladder, of course it's going to go up and get the banana, right? So as that's happening, they all get beat up. But the whole point of this is, like, all of these monkeys were taken out and they're all new, and although none of them got a cold shower, they still feel the effects of that. So that's the thing that I'm not okay with, is having a post like that bashes us as men, saying that it's our fault. So when we talk about the topic, it has to go both ways, and that's the same thing with respect. So I meant no disrespect by calling her out on that, saying that it needs to be a gender neutral post, because you're talking about 2 spirited people, 2 our most sacred and coveted people, the most gifted. So when you talk about that topic, you have to draw connections to creep behavior of Native men. And of course, I agree with her that she is being, very vocal about this. And I was voicing my opinion too, that this abuse and the creepiness doesn't just happen to girls. It happens to little boys too. It happens with, aunties going looking for young kids. You know what I mean? So the sexual abuse, it's there as well too. So, and Janelle, she wants to talk about her post, why it was so bad. It resonates with a lot of people. Our people are, I don't know how many times higher, more susceptible to getting abused physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually, because of those negative ripple effects of colonization.
Yes.
So it's not, and if you'd like to have a conversation, lateral violent, I wasn't saying that you are lateral violent. I'm saying that the post was lateral violent because it's bashing men, is it not? And you're calling Native men creeps, which to me is offensive. So you don't minimize men's experiences either. Thank you, Janelle. We'll talk more about that, but that was on Instagram. So if she wants to come on here and voice her concerns, we can talk more about that. But we're here to talk about music, and we'll go to this. We'll go to this now. Let's talk about the triumphs, all the good stuff that Black Eyed Creez have done. I know you guys won Battle of Bands in Fort McKay. We could talk about that. That's where I heard you guys and absolutely fell in love with your guys' sound.
Yeah, that was a good experience for our band. We didn't really want to do it at first, but we built up the confidence that we can do stuff like this. Because we don't really like doing Battle of the Bands, and I done a couple when I was younger and with the band Native Sons, and in Manitoba, and that was a good experience, and actually we won that one too. But the thing about it was that I thought I would never do one again in another band, and doing it in Fort McKay, going for the Battle of the Bands, we kind of thought, well, man, I don't know. So we decided to go for it, and we were checking out. Okay, well, these are the kind of bands we're going up against, and we have to do a little bit of research. What kind of music do they play? And the format was you have to have some original music. You have to play a rock song or a rock tune, and you got to play some country and fiddle. So we had the mixture of that, and that's why our band is so unique in that way. That we pretty well touch everything. From rock to classic rock to fiddle to country to originals. So it's really cool that our band is very versatile that way. and that experience was right on. It was good, and actually gave us more promotion. It made our band look good, and after that, getting more gigs, getting more shows. We had more of that coming to us when after we won that event. I think it was back in 2017. It's already been a while, or
Yeah,
2018.
2017, because we went there 2018, and I was asking you guys what your experience was and kind of what to expect, and we have to stand out, be different than everybody else, and not sing the original songs like the what do you call it, the universal set list songs that people go to, right? Your go-tos kind of have to have your own flavor, a little bit different. So when we went up there, a lot of the bands, they kind of sounded the same, except there's one awesome rock band from Fort Mac. They were called Joe Rebel. And then of course we had us, Joe Rebel, another good band from Beauvais. I can't remember the name of the band.
Probably the Outlaws. I think it was the Outlaws.
Outlaws was there. North Country Rock, what's his name? Shalafoo, Old George there. He had a good band. And then what's Nathan Cunningham's band called? Tradesman was there. So it was jam-packed with like all the best talented people. And then of course, River's Edge, the winners. So when they did the final, they ended up calling our name, Chief and Council, and River's Edge. So we had to battle against each other for first place, and we lost. I know we lost the coin toss, so we had to go first, right? And of course, all they had to do was just play better songs than we did, and that's it. Then they got it made. So if we came up with our best songs, and if they came up with songs that were a little bit better, then my hat's off to them. But it was so cool to have all those bands and just being able to play, and everybody that I look up to in music, and we're on the same stage as them now. I was grateful, and that was my first battle of the bands and first time bringing the boys from Saddle Lake up there. And we were supposed to have Colton Mike come up and drum with us, but instead he went to go what was it, chariot racing that weekend.
Oh yeah, so chariot racer.
Chariot racer. So it was like either go chariot racing or gamble and go to Fort McKay. And I said, well, just come. He's like, oh, I can't. So we were looking for a drummer, right? And our original drummer couldn't make it up there. So we ended up just using a local guy, and we jammed with him for like an hour before. And the first song we did, I was like, let's just get this song off the way. We want to see how you can do it, Janine. So of course, so we started off with Janine, and the drummer was like, and we looked back, we're like, oh no, and we just went in panic mode. Like we're playing the song a little bit too fast, and then Sean, he's like, oh, he shakes his head. I was like, get him back in line. And he's like, calm down. And everyone was just excited. It's our first time coming out. And then after that first mistake, we did pretty good and held our own. So that battle of the bands, man, it was nerve wracking, but it was a good experience.
It was even for us. I still remember like there were so many bands. I think it was like 38 bands that tried out, putting in their demos or whatever the case may be back then. And after that, they downsized it to like 24. Then they downsized it again. So I think they only picked the top 10 or top 12, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then we happened to be one of the top 10. And then after that, they broke it down again throughout the whole weekend. So it was getting pretty stressful. And I remember I think we were in the top 10, and I was wondering, where's Cal? Because Cal McCollum was our fiddle player. So I went backstage to go check out, where he was there. He was just sitting there hugging a steel pole.
No,
like he was just, Cal, are you okay? Well, what's going on? And I said, we're in the top 10. Yeah, I know, but what's going on? He wouldn't let go of that pole. He was sitting in the tent like this. Once in a while, he would grab, because they had catered food for us, and he just grabbed once in a while there. Mm-hmm. Maybe he had a beer to calm down his nerves, and he just sat back there and sat there. And I said, Cal, it's okay, man. It's not like we're playing for $1 million, but still, he's just nervous guy.
Yeah.
And I remember that experience. Man, some bands took it to really hard, and I felt sorry for these bands. I'm not going to say what bands, but actually there were some bands that it turned out to be a band fight amongst themselves. I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, that's pretty crazy. Like, you should have played this, this song this way. You should have done it. And they were actually bickering like that. And I thought, man, that's crazy. But we stayed away from it. Like, we didn't want to get involved with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you kind of have to keep it on the up and up, especially when you're going into a competition, because if you win together, you win together. If you lose together, you lose together. But
Yeah,
either way, it's
exactly.
still a good experience, right? So nobody's to blame for any faults other than, you know,
But
may not have been as good as another band. So
some of the bands that came in the top 10. There was that band that stood out for me. Was I think they're called Baby Buckskin from Calgary area,
yeah,
and actually, they're doing not too bad today. I see them on on certain charts and certain music charts and stuff like that. I see some of their originals on there, and I thought, wow, that was the band that was at the same event that we were in, Battle of the Bands at Fort McKay. And actually, that's good that they kept on going with the music, right? They didn't really disband it after that. I believe that band's called Baby Busks. I'm not sure if you heard of them, but
I'll give a quick search right here. Baby Buckskin.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
cool name for a band.
yeah, that's a cool name for sure. Yeah, and so that experience was really good, and it was really tense when we were the finals with Mosquitoes out of Winnipeg, the Mosquitoes, and they were a
Bebe
good band, good
Bebe
band.
Buckskin, Muskeg
Bebe,
Blues.
yeah,
Bebe. Muskeg Blues is actually a really good tune. I hear that on channel 165 all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's I know who you're talking about now. The EP Us a Ski is available now on all major platforms.
Yeah, man. So
Earth
that's good.
Rock.
That's good. They're still happening. Still getting
Yeah,
their music out there.
cool.
Yeah. So that was a good experience, and I don't know if we'll ever do that again. But we went back later as the house band. Backing up some of the entertainers that they had there, and I think
Mhm.
Donnie Pronto was there, and the MC, an older guy. I forgot his name, man. He was from Norris Territory. He's a very good MC, and with Donnie Pronto, and they were the MCs of the Métis Festival there at Fort McKay.
hmm hmm
I love playing for the Fort McKay. No matter if it's for the reserve or the First Nations or the Métis, man, they always treat us very well, and that's one of the best places I like to play is Fort McKay, Fort Mac.
Yep.
I just love those areas, and the people are very, very nice, and they treat us well. So,
hmm
I'm hopefully that we'll go back up there soon
Yep.
and go back there and entertain once in a while because, man, I love that community. It's right on.
Yep. So what does it feel like to be up on stage? Like, does that feeling of whatever you're feeling ever go away after 35, 40 years?
No, I always question myself about that, right?
Mm,
See how long I can play actually physically with my body.
yeah.
And I know there'll be a come a time where I'll have to retire, but I'm going to play as long as I can. And being on stage for me ever since, it's like takes me back to being a kid again, where no worries, you don't worry about nothing what's happening off that stage, and then you just have fun, right? You have fun
hmm
playing music, playing with your friends, your best friends, your brothers. There's so many people that I say share the stage with, but all of them have a meaning to me because if there wasn't music, I would never ever met these people before. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
And I would never ever known these people or even hear of them. But being a musician, it
hmm
took me to places that many of us, human beings, have never been or experienced.
Yep.
Experience hospitality, gratitude. Hey man, your music, lifts me, or your music makes me want to dance, makes me want to sing, makes me want to, getting
Yep.
that from other people. That would kept me going. Like I'm sure if some people started telling me back in the day, man, your music sucks or you suck and all this kind of stuff,
Yep.
man, I would have gave it up a long time ago.
hmm
But playing for 35 years and still getting compliments, that's I'm not being egotistical about that, but that what drives me to keep on going. And hearing about our band and how versatile it is, and we have good vocalists, good harmonies. I'm not bragging about the band, but when you hear that, that inspires you to keep on moving, right? Keep on going
hmm
in that direction because you don't want to lose that good vibe. And
Yep.
when people start saying, "Man, you're shitty," or whatever, oh, pardon my language, but if they say, okay, you're a bad band, you're no good, some of that, yeah, okay, well, maybe it's time to quit. But right
Yep.
now everything is starting to go the opposite direction. We're starting to get more recognition. We're
Yep.
getting more promotion. We're getting more out there. Originals are coming. There's a lot of future for this band, and hopefully I can stick around for the whole ride, which I know I
Th-
will be. But maybe in the future when say if one of my arms drop off or if I can't play no more,
Yep.
yeah, they'll be. I imagine we'll recruit somebody
Hey,
like a swap.
don't talk like that, because the drummer for Def Leppard.
Oh yeah, I should say that. I should say
Don't
that.
say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So if your
Okay.
arm falls
Yeah.
off, Danny, you'll have to use one and double kick.
Yeah, and I'll have to figure out how to use my moccasins on those platforms, eh?
Yeah. In breaking news, there's an unreleased song that you guys have that I want to share with everybody.
Yeah.
And this one is called Little Man. So there's My Baby Girl and there's also Little Man. So this song, when I heard it on NBC, I loved it. But the fact that it's a good tune. We'll let the folks be the judge here. This is unreleased. It's coming out on, what is it, Spotify and YouTube and iTunes and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But so far it's been on NBC, and this one's called Little Man. I'm just going to share this with everybody, and it's a good
Gotta get up early 'cause I start a new job today. I gotta meet my new boss out at the pit. I don't wanna be late. Got a brand new loader that he wants to try real bad. Gonna start me on a greater than a big dump truck. Pile some sand with the cat. And when the lunch bell rings, we'll go inside. Have some macaroni and cheese, followed up by some nap time. Now who'd have thought I'd have to work so hard on my day off? But I'm moving sand for my little man with a big toy talk truck. We're gonna get her done while we're having fun playing in the sand. On my first day of my new job, my day off, working for my little man. He's got me climbing trees with my tool belt on. Job will take all day. Gotta build the floor for the new tree house. Man, you just can't wait. Let's go inside now, Daddy, with that apron on. We gotta have that supper ready before the school kids all get home. Lady shakes his little blue jeans off, clothes covered in sand. He said, Dad, you better sweep the floor. Mommy's gonna be mad. Now who's the thought I have to work so hard on my day off? I'm moving sand for my little man with his big toy talk truck. We're gonna get her done while we're having fun playing in the sand. On my first day of my new job, on my day off, working for my little man. Well, he falls asleep on the sofa, so I carry him off to bed. But before I leave his bedroom, he yells, Daddy, tuck me into bed. Now, who'd have thought I'd have to work so hard on my day off? But I'm moving sand for my little man with his big toy talk truck. Gonna get her done while we're having fun playing in the sand. On my first day of my new job, on my day off, working for my little man. Working for my little man. Working for my little man.
All right, Little Man. That's the debut. You guys heard it right here first on the Backstage Pass with Jared Lee and my brother from another mother, Mr. Danny Marasti. Any relation to Nasty Marasti himself, the hockey player?
You know, through family, I guess, through family and from Middle Lake area, yeah, we relate to the Marastis from there, Flying Dust.
Yep.
Yeah, we're all related as Marastis, yeah. One way or another.
So, where can the folks support your journey there, brother?
Well, Facebook. Facebook. We have songs on iTunes and all those platforms, Spotify and everything like that. So we got our music out there. But the biggest one is Facebook, yeah. And we have YouTube videos. Some of them sound good, some of them don't. But we have some videos roaming around out there, and basically Facebook. Facebook is our number one thing right now to get our band out there and share the music with everybody else, and whatever else we do, like our videos. Once in a while, we post them on our page and stuff. So it's all G.
Cool. So we'll leave it at that. We'll have a little heart to heart. Thank you for inviting me to go watch you guys play at Toontown. You didn't know I was a musician until I said, "Hey, we want to play too." But that was a few years ago. It's probably about 5 years ago now.
Wow,
and then we've been bros ever since. And you're one of the best promoters, I'd say, in the business, just by getting out there and promoting your band and getting us, Indigenous people further ahead for even that songwriter showcase you did, and getting Bart McKay to come out and listen to us. And it's just small things like that, being able to network and putting yourself out there and being the best human being you could possibly be. That you've been doing this for a long time, so I want to commend you for that. And you're still going strong, and you're one of the people that I look up to as a pioneer in terms of music. So love you, brother. Keep going. And we'll probably play again a double bandstand. I'm going to call you guys out, and we're going to do a double bandstand one of these
nights.
Let's
do that soon. Once COVID is lifted, man, let's do a show, man. Let's do one at let's do one at the Coors Event Center in Saskatoon. That's an ideal spot for some good music to happen. And not only that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me. And I'd like to say hi to our friends in Norris Territories, McPherson, at the Midway Festival. We've been up there before, way up north, and and playing in Alberta, and all the communities played in Alberta, Edmonton, Buffalo Lake, where Fort Mac, Fort Chip, Janvier, Lac La Biche,
all the lakes,
all the lakes,
Saddle Lake, Good Fish Lake, Cahuan Lake, Long Lake.
Lots of lakes. And the Paul Manitoba, we've been out there a few times at the OCN, Indian Days, man, big events, and everywhere we played, there's so many communities that we played, like before this COVID hit. Man, we were a busy band. Like, we were working every weekend. We were somewhere every weekend. We lost many shows, ever since COVID, but hopefully everything is lifted, and so our bands like us can get back on the road and do what we love and entertain. Yeah,
that's
man.
right.
Soon we'll be back on that stage, and I love your music, man. Your music is good.
All right, bro.
It's out there, and it's all G.
We'll help you get started too, and help you guys promote as much as you can and get your music out there into the world and the universe, and keep on plugging away, brother. All right, thanks for being on the Backstage Pass, Danny Morasti, ladies and gentlemen, from the Black Eye Creez. We'll see you again in the future. All right, there you go, folks. Black Eye Creez, 4-piece band, great guys, all from different parts of the provinces, northern Saskatchewan, all the way to Buffalo Lake, kind of like where I grew up, around St. Paul, Saddle Lake. Brothers from another mothers, of course. LJ, if he was on the show, he could tell you that too. And Len DeLorme, great guys. Got to meet these guys, got to share the stage with them. They played a wedding, asked me to come up and sing a few. That's just how it goes. Love these guys. Great guys. And, thanks for coming out of all the places in the world you chose to be. It was right here with me. On the Backstage Pass. See you again next time.
Easy, just follow the beat. Oh my God, you ain't a country girl. Well, my country girl likes to drink and fight. She'll be drinking double spice, rum and coke on ice. She's got her tank top on with those Wranglers and boots. She's the prettiest girl in my hometown. I'll take her to the city just to burn it down. Two-stepping, line dancing, baby, get them girls in line. Well, the city girls, they're all on fire. We'll buy them around just to tweak their desire. Come on, girl, take a dance with me. It's real easy, just follow the beat. Oh my God, you ain't your country.